It seems you can do anything in American football short of using a Tommy gun, so you mustn't expect me to explain the rules.
Players wear so much clothing, it's a wonder they can move at all.
Great deal for all the players in the league and everything else. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
Marino, he's about 6'4" and weighs 200 pounds and has got a slingshot for an arm.
Marino takes the snap from center. He's looking. He throws. Touchdown, Dolphins!
Dan Marino has broken another record.
What a joy it has been to watch that man play football.
Welcome to Any Given Wednesday, the NFL podcast hosted by two overseas fans who make up what they lack in statistical knowledge with a fierce commitment to shedding a tear whilst watching an NFL documentary.
True.
Each week, it's our aim to help your understanding of the present-day NFL by taking an affectionate look through its glorious yesterdays. So whether you're a rookie fan who still thinks a jet sweep is an option at the car wash, or a seasoned veteran who knows that an Audible isn't just the place where you download audiobooks from, this is the pod for you. I'm Tom Parry, the college QB, trying desperately not to tumble down the draft because of all those partying rumours. And, well, they say football is all about what's under that left nipple. The thumper, baby. And he's got one as big as a football. He's Hollywood handsome. He's cowboy tough. It's Mr. Mike Bubbins.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. And if you are concerned about me, I don't have an enlarged heart last time I checked. So, yeah. Fantastic. It's good,
That's
mate.
a direct quote from commentary on the subject that we're looking at this week. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, I'm having that.
I've heard of that, mate.
The thumper, baby.
That's a big old thumper. Come on.
How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, mate. I'm good. Do you know what? I think it's an age thing, Tom. I've got a really bad wrist.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Just
let's go with age thing.
Yeah. Well, everyone says that, doesn't it? Where in the past that would have been a rugby injury or maybe a sparring injury from my short-lived boxing career, I think I've just slept on it funny.
That old
I think once you
excuse.
get past 50, you have injury from sleeping on part of your body funny.
Yeah.
If I got a bad neck, I've slept on it funny. I've now got a bad wrist, I've slept on it funny.
My wife ran into the kitchen yesterday and said, "Are you all right?" And I literally just bent down to pick something up. But the noise I made, she thought I'd hurt myself.
Yeah.
It's a young man's game. It's 46.
Yeah, you're the same as just Tom Brady. You're the same as just Tom Brady.
I'm 46 next year. Exactly, yeah. He wears it well. He wears it well.
If you wonder if money can buy you health and happiness, you're the same age as Tom Brady.
Did you get to watch much of the NFL this week, Bubs?
Yeah, I did actually. I had to take my boy to the hospital because we suspected break of his wrist.
Mate!
In his first game back of rugby for months out with an injury. Luckily not broken, but he splintered, but not in plaster.
Were you tempted to say, "Can you have a look at mine" while you were there?
Well, mine didn't come on till after that. This is the thing; it's like a psychosomatic wrist injury.
Yeah.
And I think I've narrowed it down to how I injured myself. If I didn't sleep on it funny, it was trying to flick the hair conditioner bottle in the shower to get the last bit of hair conditioner out. And so I think I've actually injured myself flicking a bottle of conditioner.
That is the most Mike Bubbins injury that you could possibly have.
So the upshot was I couldn't get the boys round. So Sunday Night Club was in recess for a week.
Right.
But I watched them all. I watched it all. I watched them all on the sofa with my boy.
Well, here's my question for you, because I was going to ask you this weekend. What is your NFL watching habit? Because I know you have the Sunday Night Club, you have the boys round normally.
I do.
But previously, when we've talked about it, you're not a massive fan of Red Zone, which is, I think, for a lot of people now, one of the most digestible ways to watch the NFL. Have you come around to watching Red Zone at all, or are you still a purist?
I still have never watched more than 2 minutes of Red Zone. I don't know, mate. It's the same reason that I don't really do TikTok, and I don't engage with stuff the way that I should do. It's the way that I can. This is one for the youngsters and the Americans. Listen to this. I can listen to Fife Robertson, who was an old documentary maker on BBC in the black and white days. I can listen to him talk about a pint of beer for half an hour. And not a problem, right?
Yeah.
I don't need everything to be in 30-second chunks. I've got an older person's attention span.
Okay.
So for me, Red Zone is, I get it. And if I was a casual fan, it'd be great because you're seeing touchdowns and great plays and big runs. But I like the ebb and flow of the game, so I like to see. I haven't got to have a dog in the fight, but I want to see the fight in full. You know what I mean?
I like that. I do understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, for those of us with kids who are under the age of 6, then Red Zone is an absolute gift because,
I bet, yeah.
because you can get everything you need in that final hour of the NFL. For those of you that are just getting into the sport, I would recommend it. I mean, I absolutely see your point of view.
I can certainly see the appeal, put it that way.
Yeah, when you're starting to try and just get a read on what all the different teams are doing and things, basically you just spend, your Sunday afternoon with a guy called Scott Hansen who just leaps from game to game whenever something exciting's happening. And he's kind of your guide through all of the action. And I mean, it's intense. It is intense.
It does make you realize the snippets I've seen of it. It does make you realize how fast. I know the game takes a long time, but how fast the actual plays are and how impactful the game is.
Yeah. And how quickly, I mean, I know we touched on it, I think, last week about how quickly games can change. I don't know if you saw this week, and for anyone who's listening, go back and look at Giants Cowboys this week. It was an absolute classic, and it had something like
Do we take credit for this? We talk about the Cowboys and then
I think
they turn a corner. I'm waiting for Jerry to call me out.
Yeah.
Is it down to us or not for me to say?
But
But it's not down to us.
And if you do want us to get on a plane to Texas, Jerry, we would be prepared to do that.
I'm prepared. I'd be the second Welsh bloke there, in fact, because he quite famously, the Cowboys entertained Max Boyce back in the day, back in 1981. I'd be the second ex-Welsh rugby player to turn up.
Great.
The Cowboys.
Was Boyce there for a trial, for a documentary? What was he?
He was making a documentary series.
Great.
A bit like Rod Gilbert's work experience, but it was 1981. And he was trying stuff out. So he did like a rodeo rider. It was a great series. But the one that stuck in my mind was when he went to the Dallas Cowboys. And they had to phone the Cowboys or fax about back in the day, whatever it was, and sort of say, listen, because they were a big deal then, you couldn't just turn up.
Yeah.
And so, but I think they had a history of like they've always been quite switched on to the marketing side of things. So they sold Max Boyce as an ex-international rugby player, which he wasn't, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
He wanted to go to pre-season with the Cowboys. So he turns up, apparently got met from the plane. I think it was Tex Schramm met him, the old president we talked about. And Max Boyce is about 5'5", 5'6", little curly-haired, stocky little Welshman. And Tex Schramm says to him, "Are you Max Boyce?" He goes, "Yes, I am, sir, yes." He goes, we thought he'd be a little bigger. He went, "Yeah, well, I haven't been well." He played he trained in pre-season, and he was kitted up for the first pre-season game. And they told him if they get up by 14, they'll bring him on at tailback, like running back. And they were overwhelming favourites to beat the Green Bay Packers in the pre-season because the Packers were awful at the time. And he was waiting for a chance to get on. The Packers won the game, so Max never got on the field.
Oh, wow.
Never got on the field, poor Max.
A bit like Louis Rees-Zammit, who's just returned from the NFL, who gave it a good crack. And,
gave it a good go.
Didn't get a start in the actual league itself, and it makes you realise just how hard a sport.
I never thought he would. I thought he would give a good account of himself, and I couldn't fault him for trying. And all the naysayers saying, "Why is he doing this?" Well, because he's got one chance to do it, and it's now.
Yeah,
and he loves the sport. And as someone has said to 25-year-old me and you, "Do you want to have a chance in the NFL?" Yes, please.
Yeah.
And he got to the top level in rugby, and he'll go back to that as well. He's still a young man,
Yeah, he's back already.
Gave it a good go, but you know what? There's so many fit, fast, strong, explosive blokes over there. And the difference is they've been running routes and hitting gaps and picking up blocking assignments since they were 5 years of age.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the stuff.
It's the intellectual side of the game that I think people don't account for when they look at it.
It's like even when I was unfit, I could get away with it in rugby against players who weren't very good because I sort of knew where to be. I just sort of be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I could jog
also, you knew where to hit them in the scrum as well, didn't you?
Yeah. But I could sort of jog there slowly and just be in the right place.
Yeah.
And I think in football, especially all the blocking, especially on the offense in a backfield, you've got to know. You've got to see where things are going to unfold and how the play's going to open up. And if you haven't seen that thousands of times, how do you know?
You've got to be at a specific point in the field in 4.5 seconds. Because if you're there in 6 seconds, you've overran.
Yeah.
If you're there in 3 seconds, you're not going to get there was
that one
and
that Patrick Mahomes threw on the weekend, which would have been a sure touchdown, and the receiver just either on the wrong route or just suddenly a certain touchdown is a wildly overthrown ball to the casual observer. So,
which brings me to our new feature, actually, Bubs. I thought it'd be quite cool to have something. What's that?
Your idea.
Yeah, thanks, Bubs. I'll take it. It's just called something that we'll come up with a better title than this, but the gist is something I've noticed in the NFL this week, something that's cropped up or something that you saw that piqued your interest.
Something I've noticed in the NFL this week, something that's cropped up or something that you saw. That piqued your interest.
That's a long title for a segment, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. We're going to have to punch it up a bit. The idea came to me really late.
Very much a work in progress, the title,
isn't it? We'll work on that.
Yeah, we get below 40 words, we'll let you know.
So, I don't know, do you want to kick us off? Have you got something?
Yeah, I do, because there's just so many good games already in the end. So we just finished week 2. There's been great comebacks. There's been really close nip and tuck games. There's one Instagram account I follow that is a fellow that just does like graphs of different sports. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I know.
And he did one last week, funny enough, about kicking in the NFL and how much it's improved, right? Like it was always like very much a sort of afterthought back in the day, where people like Jerry Kramer would kick for the Packers, in a pinch. Other players would kick, and it was never seen as a really specialized position. And I don't think there was ever even good kickers had like a 65% field goal average. Well, if it's not 85% now, you're struggling. And kicks have got longer and longer. So the 60-yarder no longer is like, what? I can't believe what I'm seeing. That happens on a pretty much a weekly basis. So anyway, this was the Colts-Broncos game on the weekend.
Yeah.
Colts looking for a last-minute winner with a field goal by Schrader, their kicker. 60-yarder wide right, Buffalo Bills style. Devastated. The mascot falling over, I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Cue a call I've never heard before, Tom, and I've been watching football since 1983. And the call was leverage.
Leverage?
And it was a 10-yard penalty, and they retook the down, and from 50 yards, he slotted it, and they won. They won 29-28 on a leverage call. So I said to my boy I was watching it with, I said, mate, Google NFL leverage rule. And by the time I put NFL, the Google result that popped up leverage rule, because everyone was wondering the same thing, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
And it's I've never seen it called, and it must happen all the time, right? It is one of the who was it? God, who was here? So Tillman from the Broncos, in trying to block it, put a hand on one of the Colts players and pushed himself up into the air to try to block the kick. But you're not allowed.
Springboarded off the back of another player.
And you're not allowed to do that off an opposition or off your own team, right?
Okay.
So he got called for leverage, which I've never seen before. I'd never heard of it before. I knew that there were. You go back in the early days of football, all sorts of there were proper bloody like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Like some teams in the early days, like in the 30s and the 20s, I think, would sew like hand grips into the pants onto either side of the football pants.
Oh wow!
And literally throw the ball carrier into the end zone. You know, so you'd have two players, one player on the side would just throw him into the end zone. And obviously, people like Marcus Allen became. Well, I started watching the NFL in the 80s to see him glide over the top of the line at the end zone. You know? But they banned. Well, it linked to something else as well, Tom. So you're not allowed to use leverage. You're not allowed to use equipment like a belt loop that you can throw someone into the end zone with.
Yeah, okay.
But I've never seen it caught. But interestingly, mate, if you were playing it by the letter of the law, then the tush push would be illegal.
Well, let's talk about that because the tush push, for the listeners who don't know, check it out.
Great game of football, by the way, the Eagles.
Oh, amazing. The Philadelphia Eagles have got this play, they've specialised the play, which is essentially a quarterback sneak that they use on a down where you just need short yards. But they've kind of adopted a kind of rugby technique. And they kind of
a Scottish rugby coach in to coach it.
Yeah, they did, yeah. And they kind of scrum the quarterback through the opposition. And it's been given the name the tush push. And it's very controversial. And in fact, the Green Bay Packers put forward a motion last season that it be made illegal, and it was voted on. And
they lost to Philadelphia.
Yeah, because they lost. And guess who lost to the Eagles? It's not sour grapes, honest. But I've been reading a lot into it, and a lot of people are looking at it now and saying that there is a very good case to be made.
Well, you're not supposed to. You can block for somebody, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to drag them forwards or push them forwards. You're not supposed to be able to. So when you see the quarterback hit the line, he can do that, and the line can push forward. You can get up there right behind their tush, right? But no one can push your tush. Or when you see you quite often see on a crossing route, especially like if a tight end gets tackled and sort of held up, one of their team will come and sort of grab hold and drag them into the end zone.
Yeah,
or drag them over for the first down. Yeah, you're not supposed to do it. So
what? So someone can push your tush, but you can't tush.
I could run if you were in front of me, right, and you hit their defensive line.
Yeah.
I can run into you and I can push you. I'm the ball carrier, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's my understanding of the rule. What I can't do, if I get stopped, my fullback and my running back can't run behind me and push my bum in like that. Right, can't. Okay. I'm the ball carrier. You're not allowed to assist the ball carrier in any way other than blocking.
And a lot of the other thing that people are saying is that people are jumping off in order to deliver the tush push. They're offside to begin with, and also jumping before the players actually started. You've got to be the width
of the ball away, haven't you? The neutral zone.
Yeah. So it is very controversial. The other thing I know about the tush push is that,
it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I love it. I'm a Packers, obviously big Packers fan. I don't think because one team, there's nothing stopping any other team in the league doing that. To be honest, if it's 4th and inches or 4th and goal from like the 1 foot line, I'd much rather see that than see a punt.
Right? Yeah, I agree. Did you know, Bubs, a couple of weeks ago, the tush push became one of the first NFL plays to get an official sponsor?
I saw this.
The Eagles have done a deal with Dude Wipes.
Yes,
it's a company that sells wet wipes for men. So whenever you see a tush push now, it's officially sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Amazing.
That's good stuff, isn't it? That's good stuff.
I thought was it in rugby? I think it was rugby, not football, a couple of years ago, when Specsavers started sponsoring the referees.
Great.
I thought that was a great bit of advertising.
Yes, please, don't mind that.
Don't
mind that at all.
A Dude Wipe sponsoring the tush push.
It's good. It's good stuff.
It gets my thumbs up.
Yeah.
But so leverage, but I've never heard it. I haven't heard that in 40 years of watching football.
It is a sport that has so many kind of technicalities and loopholes. I remember I can't remember what the exact play was last season, but it became clear that one of the coaches didn't fully understand what had happened or what the call was. And you kind of think, this is a guy who's worked in the game for 20 years.
So many rules, though.
Yeah.
I think from a fair catch.
Yeah.
I think from a fair catch, you can drop kick a goal from a fair catch.
Yeah, that happened last season, didn't it?
Yeah. That was the one, wasn't it? Yeah.
The thing I noticed last week was also to do with kicking, or the thing that really caught my attention was that the Dallas Cowboys played this incredible game against the Giants, and there was a lead change 7 or 8 times in the fourth quarter.
Game,
and right at the end of the game, they wanted to kick a field goal, and they settled for a 64-yard field goal. So confident were they in Brandon Aubrey, the guy who's kicking it, that for their third down, they didn't even try and get closer. They just ran a very short running play in order to give him 64 yards because they were so confident. And when he kicked it, the commentator said his backstory. And listen to this. Right, so Brandon Aubrey was a soccer player. Never played American football, never played at college, just played soccer. And he had retired. He'd become a software salesman. And he was sat at home watching the NFL, and a kicker missed, and his wife said, bloody hell, mate, you can kick better than them. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't miss. And the guy said, oh, yeah. And he said he went out that night down to the practice field, got a ball, and just started kicking and drilled 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, and was like, I think she's got a point. And then just took it up from there, started working with a coach, and now he's a Dallas Cowboy and one of the single most successful kickers of all time. So he was a retired soccer player. And his wife told him, I don't know. I mean, he's not. The thing about kickers is it doesn't really. You can go long, can't you, as a kicker?
Yeah, well, George Blanda was the oldest player in the league, wasn't he, at one point?
He's only 30. He's 30 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, but how long has he been kicking for the Cowboys?
I don't know. Two seasons, maybe, I think.
The 27-year-old rookie. Not many of those around.
Yeah. Incredible.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, good story. It's a really good story.
Well, it's like with the Aussies, with the punters, that seems to be a big thing now. Aussie punters because of Aussie rules. And
Irish as well.
It's quite Irish, boys, the Gaelic football lads.
And just very quickly, the other thing that always piques my interest is a good name on the back of a shirt. And I always think, I'd be tempted to get that shirt. There's been Josh Sweat, linebacker for the Eagles. I thought, a shirt with just Sweat on the back. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Punter for the Cowboys is Brian Anger.
Nice.
Anger and Sweat. It's pretty good going.
Yeah.
But the LA Chargers, their new field goal kicker, his name's Cameron Dicker. So Cameron Dicker, the field goal kicker. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, isn't it?
No, yeah. It does sound like a Viz character. Cameron Dicker, field goal kicker.
Cameron Dicker, the field goal kicker.
Yeah.
What's not to like about that?
Unless he's a part-time vicar as well, which would be even better.
He's got a dodgy ticker, though. It's bad news, actually. Listeners, have you got any names that you would like to throw our way? Who's got the best surnames in the NFL?
I always like Brickashaw Ferguson was a great name.
What's that?
There's some great college names this year.
Oh,
Brickashaw Ferguson.
Oh, great. Yeah.
One of my favourites.
Well, get in touch, listeners, if you've got any shirts that you think are worth us buying. Then
I got to tell you, so Sunday Night Club Steve, huge Cowboys fan.
Oh yeah,
has got a lovely Larry Zonka shirt, which he wore actually when you saw us at Wembley. He was wearing his Dolphins Zonka throwback shirt, lovely. And he thought, I've got the Zonka shirt. What got to get? And he's got a lot of Dolphin stuff. He thought, I'll buy the away shirt. I'll get the white shirt as well, Zonka. I think he must have got it from a non-NFL site inadvertently, because when it arrived, he sent a picture of the lads. On the back just says Skonka. They got the C and the S the long way around. She's got a Skonka shirt and a Zonka shirt.
the rare Skonka away shirt.
Larry Skonka.
That's great. Lad McConkey's another favourite of mine. Imagine being called Lad McConkey and being a professional football player. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I got it. Give me 1 second, there, producer Reece, while I try and find. My son did send me the thing. Wait there. So, according to my son was talking about some college football names for 2025. I'm not sure if these are real. If they're not, you can feel free to tell us. Players include General Booty.
Yes, please.
Quarterback from ULM. Memorable factor. Linebacker.
No, come on.
Demon Clowney, D lineman from South Carolina. We've also got the Realist Clark, wide receiver, Kent State. Nitro Tuggle.
I've had one or two of those in my time.
Sir Bible, linebacker, San Jose State. Yeah. King Large, and he's big. Offensive lineman from Southern Methodist. Yeah. And Squirrel White, wide receiver, Florida State.
I don't fancy Squirrel White's chances against King Large, do you?
Here's a breakdown of some of the most notable players we're finding in 2025 college season. So quarterbacks, you could have General Booty, Pop Watson III, or Deuce Knight.
Yeah.
Running backs, Tommy Running Rabbit. Wide receivers, DeRealis Clark, Nitro Tuggle, and Squirrel White. Tight end, Rocky Beers. Defensive lineman, Demon Clowney and Haynes Hammer. Linebackers, memorable factor and Chief Borders. And the secondary, you got Dallas Clark, Dicey Hopkins, King Large, and Sir Bible.
Great.
There we go.
Love that. Love it.
I do like it.
Get in touch if you've got any good names. We've got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Any Given Wednesday, the NFL podcast. And of course, we've got our Speak Pipes.
Here we
where
go.
would we be without them? www.speakpipe.com/anygivenpod. Do you want to hear a couple of Speak Pipes before we get cracking?
I'd love to, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All right, Bubs. That other bloke, I don't know who you are. I quite like American football. Used to play Madden games on me Mega Drive when I was a bairn up in the Northeast. Right. Never really picked a team. Got a few pals who's got teams. Don't know how they picked theirs. Struggling to pick one. Pick as a team. Northeast lad, likes drink, likes footy, Sunderland fan, likes watching cricket. What about myself? That's about it. Pick as a team, man. How
What a lovely, no name. What a laid back attitude to life.
Right. Great.
Just, I think life, I like the sound of this fella.
Yeah.
Life is just something that happens to him.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Obviously,
Tom, by the way.
This is Tom Parry. Sunderland. So I never know which one's a Mackham, which one's a Tackham. Sunderland's Mackham, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I've got a suggestion. I've got a suggestion for Sunderland. Actually, what would you? Where are you leaning? What would you say?
Red and white, but I'm not going to go. I can't go Chiefs on principle.
I'm not going to be led by colour. I was thinking more just kind of,
but also the sort of, dare we say, the unfashionable neighbour of a big side. So like the Newcastle and Sunderland, even though Sunderland are very well supported and they're similar standing of teams really. I'm thinking of a team that maybe is in the shadow of another team fairly close by.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to go.
Yeah, so I don't know. If they were still both in Los Angeles, I'd say he's a Rams fan because the Raiders, in black, the biggest, sort of the more recognised team. Let's have a think, though. What are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking about it in terms of like quite a
ship making.
I was thinking quite a kind of working class kind of franchise where the fans kind of enjoy a drink and support their team and go through highs and lows.
New Orleans?
I was thinking about the Bengals, Cincinnati.
Nice. Yeah.
Thinking
Ohio. Maybe in the shadow of Cleveland over the years. I don't know. Cincinnati. Yeah. I just like the water connection with Sunderland.
Okay.
Possibly New Orleans.
I like New Orleans, actually. The Saints isn't a bad way to go at all, actually. Great town to go out in as well. A few beers.
It's Sunderland. Sunderland is like, I've always thought it was of the New Orleans of the Northeast.
Yeah. I don't mind that at all, actually. Let's give you the New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints, go on.
Yeah. Nice.
I went there. I went to the Superdome when I was about 19 on my odyssey, my pilgrimage around America.
Did you see a game?
No, it was out of season in the summer. I went there I got there by train. I got the train in. The train into New Orleans is amazing. It's like one of the longest bridges in the world.
Oh, wow.
And it's the width of the train, and it's just above the water. So for about 30 miles, all you can see is a train going across the ocean, which is a bit weird.
Yeah. Did you get to do any?
I like New Orleans.
Did you get to do any singing in New Orleans? Did you get out in the clubs?
I didn't. Like when I got to Memphis, I had a little bit of a sing. I didn't in New Orleans, but I enjoyed. There's music everywhere though. Every little, even all the paddle steamers on the river are playing tunes, and there's people playing brass bands everywhere, and there's all sorts of music going on. It's a great city. French Quarter is an amazing part of the world. Yeah, Sunderland. I reckon New Orleans.
Well, I like that. I like that a lot. I think our boy will enjoy that as well.
Let's have a think.
All right, let's have a second speak pipe then.
Hello, lads. It's Richard here from Swansea. Just listened to a great episode on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, and I was just doing a bit of research on a salary cap which was brought in in 1994. Is there a reason why Super Bowls before 1994 are still seen as valuable as one after? I just assumed that if you won a Super Bowl before 1994, people would be like, oh, that happened before the salary cap came in. They might play it down, but it still seems to be as valuable. I'm just wondering why that is.
It's a good question, isn't it?
That's a really good question, yeah. It's a really good question.
We've also got to bear in mind that the NFL, with no promotion relegation, it wasn't like there's some plucky owner of a carpet shop who's got a team, and then there's an oil millionaire. I mean, even in the pre-salary cap days, with the exception of Green Bay that's publicly owned, the other owners were all, at the very least, multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
So I think the salary cap was more brought in to stop them spending all their money more than anything else, because they want to get rid of bidding wars more than. I mean, the league with the draft and that, you have to play for who drafts you anyway.
Was it a direct response to Jerry Jones, the salary cap? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't think they didn't want to get to a situation like you got in baseball where the Yankees can spend 10 times more than everybody else and keep getting success. Right? You look at our football over here, outside of the sort of top 4 or 5 teams, your team's not going to win the Premier League. You're either going to start the season thinking, we'll be mid-table, or we'll be fighting relegation, or we're going to be in the top 5. You sort of know that. You're playing within those bands.
As a Wolves fan, I really know that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Good question, pre-94. Well, look, as the Packers won it 6 times in the 60s and the
Yeah.
And they didn't have an owner, no salary cap.
Also, I think it is a change on the business side of things, and I feel like it isn't quite as. I don't think it will have seemed quite as seismic to the fans. Like they just,
I think Richard's got a good point. Is it Richard? I think it was Richard.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think Jerry Jones sort of came in and upset the apple cart, where other owners were in a sort of cabal. 27 owners, or whatever it was at the time, 31 owners, 30 owners, plus the Packers, plus Jerry Jones. And everyone thought that we're in this together, we'll split everything equally. Jerry didn't play by those rules. No. Jerry thought, well, I'll just pay more than everybody else, and I'll just buy the best players, and I'll just win it like that. Yeah. So I think the owners then sort of thought, oh, hang on a minute, this oil billionaire is prepared to throw a load of cash at it, and prices all out of the market. So maybe I think that is more of a correlation than I ever thought before. I don't think it devalues the pre-Super Bowl era purely because there were so many different teams. So the Packers won, the Jets won, the Cowboys won.
Well, I think, like you said, I think the draft system automatically makes sure that the worst teams get the best players, and so that kind of had a way of kind of refreshing things anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas had a dynasty, but Pittsburgh had a dynasty in the 70s, and the Packers had a dynasty in the 60s. But I do think that Jerry, especially when he signed his own deals and stuff with kit and apparel and things, they had their own style a minute.
Speaking of Jerry Jones, that was a great question.
I do think that the salary cap is. I never thought of it before, Rich. I do think it might well be in response to an owner like Jerry Jones, who doesn't want to play by the established sort of unwritten rules. But I don't think any less of someone who won a Super Bowl pre-94.
I love the idea of a salary cap coming over here. I'd love to see the Premier League have a salary cap, for example.
It'd be brilliant.
I think it's a brilliant system. But that was a great question. Just very quickly on Jerry Jones as well. After the Cowboys-Giants game, it was his new coach's first win. A coach who Jerry Jones very much appointed and who everybody says isn't probably up to it and has only been given the job because he's a yes man to Jerry Jones. Very much a case of deja vu from what we were looking at. And
I can't remember the Super Bowl and be nothing to do with him.
Yeah, and they said let's see a clip of him in the changing rooms, and like he's in the changing rooms, the new coach surrounded by his team, but who's right next to him, handing him the game ball? It's Jerry Jones, right, still in the heart of the action. And I just thought, oh, he doesn't change at all. I just loved it.
After that doc, mate, I cannot not like Jerry Jones. That's the problem.
That's great. Yeah. He goes again. Well, thank you for those. Get in touch. Are you in search of a team? How did you get into the NFL? And also, no question goes unanswered. So get in touch, and we'll give it our best shot at answering it. That was a really great question. So I wouldn't say no question too stupid. Yeah, do get in touch. But let's crack on. This series, we've said before, we're working through each franchise each week and choosing one aspect to focus on for each of the teams, whether it be players, games, seasons, events, personalities, anything like that. So get in touch if you've got a suggestion for a franchise that you think we should look at. It can be from yesteryear, it can be from last season. Whenever it is, we'll look into it.
Oh, just before we move on, just thinking, this popped in my head.
Go on.
Sunderland's nickname, the Black Cats.
Oh, hello.
New Orleans playing black and gold.
Yeah. That's nice.
Got a lovely black kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good looking kit. No, that's great. I think we've done well there. We've done really well. This week, Bubs, we're looking at one of the most famous and glamorous franchises of the NFL. One of the most well-traveled. Miami Dolphins. And one player who defined the franchise for over a decade and a half whilst becoming a name known throughout the world, the one and only Dan Marino.
Mr. Dan Marino.
Yeah.
I love Dan Marino.
I mean, it's just
the joy of being a UK NFL fan is I can be a committed Green Bay Packers fan, but in my bar, I can have a signed football and jersey of Mr. Dick Butkus from the Chicago Bears because I loved Butkus. I can have a Larry Zonka shirt because I love what Zonka stood for.
Yeah,
and we can base our logo somewhat on Zonka and Kick in the 70s Miami. But also, I can love Dan Marino. In fact, in the original bar in my old house, the outside loo, because we had an outside toilet there, which Americans, that'll blow their mind. Not the main house, but just there was one in the back garden, which was very handy. We had a big poster in there framed of Dan Marino, and that was just known as the Dan. So we would go to the Dan.
I'm going to the Dan.
Yeah, go to the Dan. Back in 2 minutes, we're just going to the Dan. Love Dan Marino.
Did the person who bought your house from you, did you leave that behind? Is there still an outdoor toilet at that house with a big picture of Dan Marino?
Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah, so I mean, get in touch, Matt, if you listen to this. This is my other pod, the person who bought my house.
I'd absolutely love to be the estate agent.
And we stenciled the Dan on the door as well. So white door with the Dan in black letters.
And have you not got a Dan in the new bar?
No, we just got more. We got extra toilets now. It's not as big of a deal, but we haven't got a dedicated bar loo yet. But when I build one, you know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
And what I'm going to use for a picture, probably I might not use Marino's picture himself, but when I went to, because my sister lives in Pittsburgh, married a Pittsburgh boy, and obviously he's one of their most famous sons, Dan Marino. I went to the house he grew up in as a kid.
Oh.
And I stood on a bit of grass outside his house where his family used to throw a football around. And I just took a lovely big photograph of Dan Marino's house. So I'm going to get that. if we do get a new loo in the new bar, I'm going to get that framed and blown up.
Well, once we go to Patreon, then that can be one of the tiers that the listeners can give a bit more money to, so that we can get you an extra toilet in the bar. Yeah, help build the Dan too.
Just give him Page, yeah. What a player, mate!
What a player.
I mean, if you're a UK fan that's my age or around my age, he was. Our football at the time was struggling. Hooliganism was bad. It just seemed bleak. The pitches were crap. The stadiums were crap. The crowd, it wasn't family friendly at all. It just seemed to be, when you watch any sort of footage from those days, it seems to be grey and horrible and drab and wet. And then suddenly, Channel 4, 1982, 83, you're seeing a 6'4" Adonis wearing like aquamarine and orange.
Yeah. From Miami.
In the sunshine. Yeah, I thought, fuck it, what is this? What am I watching?
Flowing locks.
Guaranteed you will love Marino. Whatever team you support, you will love Marino if you're a UK football fan of an age. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because it was absolutely revolutionary to me.
Like when you're growing up, when you think about, the American football quarterback, and you kind of picture this person, the kind of stereotypical, kind of golden boy, huge frame, arm like a gun. You're picturing Dan Marino. He's the quarterback's quarterback.
Yeah. And what a player. And he's one of my go-to players when players are criticised. How can you mention so-and-so in the conversation of being one of the best of all time when he hasn't won a Super Bowl? I said, well, you're going to tell me that Marino wasn't one of the best Super Bowls quarterbacks who ever played the game. Because if you think that, you don't know anything about football, right? And his team, it's a 53-man game now. It's a 45-man game back in the day. It's always been a team sport more than anything else football. And you can have players who maybe aren't stellar athletes, but have got a great team around, a great coach. So I'm thinking about things like, and I'm not knocking him, but Eli Manning, that Giants team. I wouldn't think that he wouldn't spring to mind as a fantastic quarterback, but his record speaks for itself. Marino was a fabulous quarterback this is the weird thing, with some real offensive weapons, great receivers. They built it around him, obviously, without wanting to do him a disservice. Not a great running game, but they didn't need it.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing. Yeah, that is the interesting thing. I mean, a lot of people, when they look at why is it that Dan Marino, we only went to one. He went to one Super Bowl. Yeah. Came up against the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, let's be honest, we're on a bad side.
Not a bad side. Came up against Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And Dan Marino was only 22. He was in his second season.
I know.
And he broke all the records for touchdown thrown in a single season. I think he threw something like 48 touchdowns and something like that.
Because he was a Pittsburgh Panther in college.
The bazooka from Pitt.
You mentioned on the top there about seeing your stock drop because of allegations. There was all that sort of allegations of Marino that he was a good time boy, and there was the cocaine stuff, and there was all the other stuff. And he had blood tests and urine tests. So listen, this is not true. Because that rumor started, he would have gone first pick. He ended up dropping right down the draft because of all these rumors about his social life in college.
It is fascinating that. I mean, I think we touched on it before years ago when we looked at draft day in one of the earlier episodes, but you get this thing that happens every year where these kind of stories start to permeate around the league and rumors about character or behavior. Yeah. And because, teams, even though they can watch the tape and they can go and meet the people, it's a bit like buying a house, really. Like you don't live in the house before you buy it. You don't really know the person. So you have to rely on kind of you're asking around and stuff.
Yeah. And I think it was a lot more 70s and 80s. It was a lot less thorough than it is now, a lot more word of mouth stuff. You could find out stuff a lot more easily now. Right?
Yeah.
I just looked through here. So here's some of his awards and highlights. Ready?
Yeah, go on.
NFL MVP in 1984, Offensive Player of the Year in 1984, Comeback Player of the Year in 1994, NFL Man of the Year in 1998, 3 times First Team All-Pro, 84, 85, and 86, 3 times Second Team All-Pro, 83, 94, 95, 9 times a Pro Bowler, 83 to 87, 91, 92, 94, 95, 5 times NFL Passing Leader, 84, 85, 86, 88, 92. 3-time the NFL passing touchdown leader, 84, 85, 86. NFL passing rating leader, 84. NFL 100th anniversary all-time team. The all-rookie team in 83. Won the George Halas Award in 1995. The Burt Bell Award in 1984. He's on the Dolphins honor roll. He's had his number retired. He's in the Dolphins Walk of Fame. He's a first-team All-American at college. Yeah, I mean, he got the lowest sack percentage in a season, 1% sack. Most seasons leading the league in completions, 6. Most seasons leading the league in pass attempts, 5. He made 4,967 completions for a completion percentage of just shy of 60%, 420 touchdowns to just 215 interceptions. And
he had the most passing yards for a long time, didn't he? Until Drew Brees took him over.
Against 61,000 yards.
Yeah.
And people say, yeah, but you never won a Super Bowl, though, mate. Oh, can I swear? Fuck off.
Do you know what? 61,000 yards. 61,000 yards. I was watching someone talk about it. It's 36 miles. he threw.
And do you know what? He played in an era. All right, the receivers had a bit more protection than they would have had in the 60s, 70s. Got rid of some of this, like the bump and run a bit to a certain extent. But if you look at the punishment Marino took,
yeah,
and I'm not saying that it's a tired, lame, nonsensical argument to say that quarterbacks these days aren't tough. Of course they're tough, right? You got to be tough.
Yeah,
but in the 80s.
But not as tough as
you were getting absolutely hammered, right? And in that division, you had people like Mark Gastineau, who just all he did was sack people.
Yeah,
that's all he wanted to do. And
a sack
was a 3-step rule.
Yeah, I was going to say like a sack.
You could get let go of the ball, and 3 seconds later, Mark Gastineau or Lawrence Taylor can put their head in your face cage, and that's perfectly fine. It's a different world in the 80s. You watch those 80s games, man. And then so he ends up with both his knees in like robotic braces.
Yeah.
He's been battered, and he's still got the quickest release you'll ever watch in a quarterback. He was such a good player, Dan Marino.
Well,
and he's such a good commentator. I love him.
He went something like 99. He started 99 games consecutively, and he played in 145 straight matches. He didn't miss a match between 1984 and 1993. That's insane.
I would say peak sack era of the NFL.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean? And you got Lawrence Taylor, and you got Mark Gastineau, and you got Howie Long, and you got towards the end of that, you'd have had Bruce Smith. Just people who ate quarterbacks.
Yeah, and roughing the passer isn't really a thing.
Oh,
and it's
never
like,
gets called.
When they get to you, they get to you. They punish.
You're going to get it. And don't try to get, the grounding rule was a lot tighter then. You couldn't just throw the ball away. There was all sorts of stuff that you've got protections now. You can't go below you can't go knees or below. You can't go shoulders and above. You can't put your body weight on top of the
can't land on them. Yeah.
Yeah. In those days, none of that stuff existed. There used to be a clip at the beginning of the NFL show on Channel 4, and I can't remember the quarterback. It might have been Marino. But he was sort of rolling out to the right, and you see the defensive end come around towards him, and he turns around to go back the other way. And we've seen Lawrence Taylor coming the other way, right? As he turns around, Lawrence Taylor tattoos him head first in the face cage.
Yeah.
I thought, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you got to get up and do that again.
Yeah.
So he was super brave, amazing release, a cannon of an arm on him.
Built like a linebacker. Like one of the favorite quotes I read about him was that stat that you said about one of the least sacked quarterbacks of all time is extraordinary because he is huge, and this is the fact. Like he's not fast, like on his feet. Someone described him, they said he's got feet like Gene Kelly. They said he might be 6'4", but they said in the pocket, his footwork.
He's on his toes all the time, watching.
Yeah, just tip-tapping like that. They said there's no one like him.
But he reminds me of, and he would have been a good fit of the Steelers, I think. He reminds you of Roethlisberger in as much as, even when you had a one-on-one with him, there's a good chance Dan's not going down.
Yeah.
Like he was strong.
Yeah. And intimidating. Like they were saying... It's quite rare for a quarterback to intimidate like the defense, but he would. Like he had a huge, intimidating kind of aura around him, and he would really stick it to the defense. How
good he looked in those days. Like you just see him like in the grey training t-shirt, in the Miami Sun, thinking, "Oh, mate, what?
yeah.
Yes, please."
But it is tough for him. Like, the thing is, you can't ask for a more successful career. But then there's always that, except for that one thing. And it's a bit like when we were talking about the Buffalo Bills recently and Jim Kelly and saying like how hard it is to get a Super Bowl. It's the recurring theme. You think about players like, Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, they only ever got one quarterback. Well, they only got one Super Bowl. Yeah. These are like all-time great quarterbacks. They only got one. And it's amazing how many quarterbacks you see in a Super Bowl and you think, well, they'll be back next year. They'll get one.
Well, it's a criticism of Aaron Rodgers, which I always take umbrage with. You only ever won one. I said, do you know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
There's teams that have never won one in their franchise's history.
There's a really heartbreaking after that first Super Bowl that he went to. He's 22. It's his second season. There's an incredible Diet Pepsi advert that they did, and it's Joe Montana and Dan Marino getting to a vending machine at the same time. And Joe Montana says, "I'll get this, Dan," and he buys 2 cans of Diet Pepsi. And Dan Marino opens his and then looks around and says, "Joe, next year I'm buying." And that's the advert.
Oh, wow.
And it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool advert.
Do you know one of the reasons I watch a lot of the games on DAZN? I watch Game Pass on DAZN, right? And I do pay for it. This is not a paid advert. It's not because I don't like the Sky coverage. I think Sky do a good job. They got some. I'll happily watch the Sky coverage, but the adverts in America are just better adverts. Especially if you especially around Super Bowl time when they're football based.
Yeah.
Like I can remember seeing that. I think it was Coca-Cola with Mean Joe Green in the sort of late 70s. And he gives the kid a bottle of Coke. I didn't know who Joe Green was at the time. I just saw this clip on TV. It wouldn't have been on Clive Anderson or something. It wouldn't have been an advert over here. I go, that looks cool. That looks like a cool game, whatever that is. He looks massive and hard.
Something I wanted to discuss with you was like one of the things what people said is that something they think that because Don Shula was his coach, wasn't he, for a long time?
Yeah,
and Don Shula was obviously the guy who had taken the Dolphins, who'd won the Super Bowl in the perfect season.
Yeah, with
the Dolphins in the 70s.
Yeah.
But he could never get there with Dan Marino. And one of the accusations is that, not that it's Dan Marino's fault, but because he was such a great passer, because you've got the greatest passer that anyone has ever seen there, you don't have a running game. And, football is all about balance, and you have to be able to. But Dan Marino wouldn't really allow them to have a running game. And Dan Shula let him call his own plays, out in the huddle or call audibles a lot. And so I just want to talk a little bit about audibles because an audible is when the coach on the side sends in the play.
Yeah.
But the quarterback has got the authority to call an audible and change the play in the huddle, right?
Yeah. Well, or off the line of scrimmage. More like the line of scrimmage if it's an audible.
Oh, right. Okay. So even later than the huddle.
So before obviously they're mic'd up these days, the quarterbacks, but they'll turn that microphone off like 10 seconds before the snap, I think. So you can't be coached. He's not like a robot quarterback. But in the old days, they'd either send it in by signaling or they would send a player in with the play. Yeah, but then it's the quarterback's prerogative to get to the line of scrimmage, have a look up. And if he reads the defense or thinks something's on, he'll audibilize at the line, change the play. And I suspect Dan did that quite a lot when there was a run play called.
Yeah. And there were players saying, even if it was like 3rd and 4, for example, Dan would be like, we're throwing it.
Go deep.
We're throwing it. Because if he could, he would.
I want that though, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. But then, that is an accusation leveled as to why he never got there,
But then did he have the person? I'm sure if he'd have had like Jim Kick and Larry Zonka or Mercury Morris, then he might have handed the ball off, but he didn't have that. Because your general manager then will talk to your coach in Rona. How do you want to play the game, Joe? What do we want to? What are we looking for? What do people in Miami want to see? Well, let's play the game this way. So if they're not spending high draft picks on running game, you're not going to get a running game. You're going to get that sort of shit or bust passing game, which is fucking thrilling to watch, though.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best form of the game. And he's gone like this mythical. He is exactly like. There's a reason why Peyton Manning and Brett Favre and everyone, like, if you ask them who their favorite quarterback is in all the interviews, they always say it's Dan Marino, and Aaron Rodgers says the same thing. It's kind of like the thing I love about quarterback play is there is something. It's such an aesthetic thing as well. It's like it's a thing of beauty, and you see Dan Marino's like the action of him throwing the ball, and like there's kind of like whenever people talk about him, there's this like mythology around him of like even as like a 10-year-old. Like no one threw the ball, no kid like his his coach.
Well, he was an excellent baseball pitcher too. So he had a cannon arm on him.
It's like that's it. He just could do. That's what he could do. He could just throw the ball really fucking hard, and it's like it's just
on a one. And it does look great. There's certain things in sport, and I love sport. Right, I love the NFL that look amazing. I mentioned on the top the way that Marcus Allen would take off into the end zone for the Raiders just looked like nothing else in sport, right? Yeah. You see still pictures of him like side on over all these outstretched arms of the D lineman just jumping into the end zone. Oh my God, what am I watching? It was unbelievable. One of my favorite things in sport is the shot of a football coming towards a receiver when you can see the spiral. It's just so tight. Yeah. It's no wobble in it. It's just coming towards you like a rocket.
Yeah.
And that was the way that Marino threw the ball all the time.
Totally.
Just crisp.
And you see kind of like the defense, like the safety's arms coming across it, or like the cornerback.
When it splits
you realize like the window that they have to hit.
Unbelievable.
The precision, the timing. It's just this tiny window that they have to make. And they're making it from 40 yards away with a huge bastard about to whack them in the face. It's just like, it's extraordinary.
Yeah, I love it. And that's what, for us, certainly from a UK audience, I mean, I couldn't watch much Packers back in the day. We got a highlights program once a week back in the 80s. So I was a Redskins fan, Washington fan, sort of by default because my dad was one.
Yeah.
And I used to love watching John Riggins put his head down, his arse up and make 3 yards, right? Bang, bang, bang. That's the way they played football. Big linemen, the Hogs, give it to Diesel, Bosch, right? That was the way they played. And I enjoyed watching that. But I didn't watch Miami then to watch them play that sort of football. That wasn't Miami football. That wasn't the way they did it. If I'm watching I used to love watching Dan Fouts play for the Chargers. That sort of Don Coryell, that Air Coryell passing game he played. Lovely. Yeah. And it just seemed like those sunshine cities played that sort of sunshine football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I'm watching Miami, I want to see throwing a ball into the sunshine, mate. I want to see them do the same thing over in San Diego, right?
Absolutely.
And do you know what? What a good looking think about the sort of Miami Vice was just after this. So Miami Vice was mid-80s. Don Johnson and who's the other fellow? I always forget his name. Played Ricardo Tubbs. Him anyway.
Yeah.
But that look, mate. That look. I can remember going to school on a no uniform day in about 1986, right? All my mates had LS tracksuits on, right? Bobbins, I rocked up. I had white cotton chino pegs, right? Like baggy on the top, turned up to the bottom. No socks. Red leather slip-on shoes with white soles. And just this baggy blues-on white top. Yeah. With like a big orange and aquamarine V in it, right? Just thinking, this is me, man. I'm like,
Lollipop
I'm the
sticking in your
Sonny
mouth.
Crockett of Barry, right? And Marino was like the Sonny Crockett of the NFL.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
You know, if Sonny Crockett was 6'4" and built like a brick shithouse.
And hard, and played on after tearing his meniscus.
And how good does he look now? He looks bloody brilliant now, Dan Marino.
He looks amazing.
He looks immaculate in that suit when he does his comms.
Just before we wrap up his playing career, we should say, because he didn't have that Super Bowl kind of game or that, there are still kind of like these mythical performances that stand out. And one of them is in 1985, that Miami Dolphins team was the only team to beat the Chicago Bears. They would have had a perfect season, which is quite apt because, the Dolphins are the only team to have ever had a perfect season.
Yeah, perfect.
But they came up against Buddy Ryan's defense, which was this perfect defense that no one could figure out. And what people say is like that game, if you watch that game, it is one of the most perfect offensive games of all time. That against the 85 Bears.
Yeah, well, that dude, I mean, to score against that defense that Ryan had was remarkable. Like, and they just, I've watched that back last year, right? They picked him apart, really. It was great to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
and then the other one I want to talk about is the fake spike versus the New York Jets in 1994, which is one of my favourite plays of all time, where they move down the field, the clock's at like 15 seconds, third down, and so everyone's like, oh, well, this is where you spike it and let the field goal come out, kill the clock. And he's running up and he's motioning spike, and they pass it to him and then he just lobs it into the end zone. Touchdown.
Lovely.
It's great. It's really good stuff.
And that would have had to have been, well, I don't know. I in my mind, I like to think that's all Dan's idea. Because it was a proper hurry-up offense. Sprinting down the field. There must have been an audible there thinking, we'll have these now. The old fake kill the clock. Wonderful.
And then he went into films.
Yeah.
He went well, we should say the playing career finished with a whimper.
Not a great actor.
No. Not a great actor.
I'm not knocking him.
I know him mostly from Ace Ventura, where he got to play himself. I think he played himself a couple of times. Do you know something I found out looking into this episode was when I was watching, particularly the end of his career, when Jimmy Johnson was his coach. He'd been playing there 17 years. And what's sad to see is John Elway, who was obviously in the same draft as him. John Elway went first pick in the same draft as him. In John Elway's last 2 seasons at the Broncos, he won 2 Super Bowls.
And obviously that was before that, and they were saying that he can't win the big one as well.
Yeah, so he'd been to a couple and hadn't won, but in his final 2 seasons, he won 2 Super Bowls back to back and retired as a Super Bowl champion. Meanwhile, Dan Marino had to quit off the back of losing 62-7 to Jacksonville in another playoff defeat. Jimmy Johnson quit, and then he hung up his boots. And it's just, it's a shame because John Elway was proving that, and I think Peyton Manning did a similar thing. It's like with a quarterback that old, you can manage a team around them. You just have to find different ways to win. You can't just rely on hero ball, with the guy. And they couldn't find a way for Dan Marino.
Interesting to see this season what they do with Aaron Rodgers at Pittsburgh.
Yes, very similar kind of way of managing an aging quarterback. And it made me, the thing that I thought about was I think perhaps my favourite sports movie is Any Given Sunday by Oliver Stone. What a film. And I was thinking, oh God, this is just like the Dennis Quaid character. When you look at Dan Marino, it's like, oh, this is exactly like Dennis Quaid's character, Jack Rooney. And then I found out that Dan Marino was a consultant on the film and advised Dennis Quaid throughout. And the character, Jack Rooney, all the shots they have in his house, that is Dan Marino's house that they were filming in. So that's how based on Dan Marino that character was.
I love it.
So I thought that was great. And do you want to, this is the other thing I found out about Dan Marino in retirement. He lost a hell of a lot of money because he invested in a company that were producing holograms. So, like the Tupac hologram and stuff like that. He
What,
invested
the
in all.
Coachella thing?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how he lost all his money, invested in that.
No.
So don't take him to Abba Voyage, I guess. He's not going to have a good night.
Thank God I got no money to get ripped off out of. Do you ever think about that? Imagine working your whole life and then getting ripped off. Like, oh, no.
Yeah, in holograms as well.
I'm sure he's all right, though, mate. I'm sure
he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
He's great on comms.
Oh, yeah. And a great man. And incredible charity work. He had an autistic son, and he kind of launched a huge charity for autistic
It just makes
kids.
you think, like, I mean, not only was it like Major League Baseball and the Kansas City Royals loss was the NFL's gain and the Dolphins' gain, but all those teams who listened to the scouts and bypassed him because of all those shitty rumors from college.
Yeah.
And he was a one-team player. I can't think of him any scandal when he played. Like you said, he's known for his work off the pitch. He's known for being a family man.
6 kids, family man. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
What a man.
And they picked him 27th in his draft. 27th. And Aaron Rodgers went 24th. Tom Brady went 199th. I mean, there's an episode when I think next year when the draft comes round, we should do a draft special where we look at like the draft day stories. But 26 players went above Marino.
Oh,
incredible!
A lot of GMs dropped the ball there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because he was number one rated. They thought he was going to go in the first pick or two. And he just kept dropping down.
So James Elway and Bill Kelly were the big were the players above him. But then Jim Kelly, went all the way down to he fell all the way down to 27th. Yeah.
Jim Kelly wouldn't play, so he went didn't want to play for Buffalo, so went to USFL.
Yeah.
I think Elway was drafted by someone different too, wasn't he? Didn't Elway hold out and go somewhere else to the Broncos?
I don't know.
I got sure. I like when I get these things right at the top of my head. Hang on a second. I love being proven right about stuff. I've got a funny feeling. Let's have a look at Elway. Broncos. Yeah, we know the Broncos. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I know all that. It's kind of Stanford. But yes, Michael. I'm never wrong, Tom. And one day people will realise this. While playing college football at Stanford, Elway set several career records for passing attempts and completions and also received unanimous All-American honours. He was the first select of the 1983 NFL Draft, famously known as the quarterback class of 83. He was taken by the Baltimore Colts before being traded to the Denver Broncos. He said he's not going to play in Baltimore.
Oh, wow, there you go. Interesting.
This is what you get when you get me on the. You won't get you might not get up to the date stats, but you'll get things that pop into my mind from 30 years ago that happen to be true.
Great. There's life in the old dog yet, but
I got it, mate. I still got it.
I'll finish with one thing that I really loved that I heard, where it was a guy who played with him. Who said, I had a pal in town who obviously wanted to meet Dan Marino. So I said, I'll come down to training and you can meet him afterwards. And so he came down and he was just like his brother-in-law. And he said, do you want to, catch a few balls? And Dan Marino was like, yeah, great. Yeah, I'll throw a few balls to you. And just started just pinging balls at this guy. And he said they were whacking him in the chest and off his hands. And he was like, and so the player said, can you, do you mind just slowing it down for a bit for him? He's not really a player. And Dan looked at him and said, I throw one way.
Oh, yeah. I got
one way of throwing.
You adapt.
That's it. I can't tone this down.
Oh, man. It would be an absolute pleasure, one of the greatest pleasures of my life, to have my fingers broken from trying to catch a Dan Marino pass. Give me the chance, Dan.
Yeah, it's certainly a better story of why you've got a bad wrist than flicking air conditioner in the shower.
Well, I'm telling people now, when the Dan Marino threw a ball, I'll be like, caught it badly.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we're going to go with.
Magic.
Dan Marino, what a legend.
100%.
Well, that was Dan Marino. We'll be back next week with another franchise and another story attached to it. We don't know what that's going to be yet, do we, Bubs?
Yeah. Don't forget, get in touch with your ideas and your franchises and your stories, and we'll see what we'll see. Yeah, and do your speak pipes. Get a little shout on here.
Get in touch. Show some love on Instagram. Show some love on TikTok. We're loving doing this, and we're loving that you guys are listening. So keep in touch, and we'll see you next week.
Lovely stuff.